All right, it's time to talk basketball. I'm Jose Salviati, editor at beachbasket.net. He's Steve Purciello, a longtime educator, vice principal, high school basketball coach, and athletic director. And this is the Shot Clock Pod, the best 15 minutes of NBA random thoughts online anywhere. If this is your first time listening, welcome. We're glad you found us. This podcast is born out of the content of Steve's 13 Rules Random NBA Thoughts articles, which he publishes weekly. Steve and I have exactly 15 minutes to discuss what's on his mind around the NBA. Today, we'll discuss his thoughts on his latest 13 Rules Random NBA Thoughts article, where he shares his thoughts on Marcus Smart, Russell Westbrook, and how to build a team, and a whole lot more. We're going to talk about just a few of those things today, and I do have to say I'm a little under the weather, so apologies if it's coming across. But on we go. Dave, you ready?
Ready. Your voice is still better than mine, even when you're under the weather.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's start the clock. Yeah, we're off. All right. First, Marcus Smart. You wrote a lot about Smart as a Celtics fan, and I understand what that feels like. Watching someone like Shaquille O'Neal end his career in Boston was weird. And watching players like that associate with Team A, move to Team B, and not just any team, that if a rival is weird. It's weird seeing them in that jersey. It's weird to root for them, but then not root for a win. It's weird. So tell me a little bit about what that's, and then and at the same time, we want to talk about Russell Westbrook. Marcus Smart got the call. Russell Westbrook is still waiting for one. Is his career over?
Doesn't look good. I think somebody will be desperate in a couple weeks. Somebody might get hurt within the summer or something will happen, but he's going to be a minimum player. And he's still talented, but he's polarizing in so many ways. And I guess teams don't. It's funny. Guys who are considered good people on the team, Jared Dudley, who played forever, didn't play, but he was on a roster forever.
Right.
Udonis, they stay because they're positive influences on the rest of the team. With Westbrook, I don't know, but I guess he's polarizing on a team also. And so he's not going to hang on, or it's going to be difficult for him to hang on.
I saw an article today that just it resonated. It felt so good. It said the problem with Russell Westbrook is that, and the problem in quotes, the issue with Westbrook is that he plays loud. And I love that definition because that's exactly who he is. He's always ramped up to 11, and that's not a good fit for some team.
That's right. But that's part of the problem. And the ego, of course, and I know he came off the bench in Denver. I'm sure he wasn't thrilled about it. He did what he had to do. But so I would think that kind of affects other people. He's supposed to be a great guy, but you don't know what you're feeling and how you're acting around your teammates. And generally, if you're at the bottom of the roster, you want a positive person, a good influence. I'm not going to say he's not. I would think he wants to play and he wants to play a lot and so on. And that's just not in the cards right now.
Yeah. LA guy, hoping the best for him, but it might be the end, but it's not the end for Marcus Smart. How weird is it as a Celtics fan watching him put on? How weird is it gonna be watching him put on and play for the Lakers jersey and play for the Lakers?
The thing, and I've mentioned this a bunch of times, as a fan, and I'm a big fan or whatever, but I understand it. What we regular people don't realize is this is their livelihood.
Right.
Even if Marcus Smart is squeezing some more money out of people, that's great. That's less that he has to do the rest of his life. And, that's a great thing. But for the average fan who sits there and roots for the whatever team, Philadelphia or any other team, they get very offended. How could Marcus Smart go against?
They take it personal.
Yeah, and I understand it. I was a fan of his in Boston, and I'll be a fan of his with the Lakers. I won't root for the Lakers, but I'd root for him because he plays hard. Sometimes he shoots a little too much, but he plays hard and he gives you everything he's got. He's a fun player to watch. I think his body is starting to break down, but how could I not root for him? He gave Boston some great games, great times, and he's just a good team player. It's good for the Lakers. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. You might go from 6th to 5th or something, but it's just a good thing. And I'm glad he's still in the league. And I'm hoping, like all Celtic fans or teams that you root for, when you lose a player like that, you hope that somewhere before he goes, retires, he comes back. That's the nice thing. I don't think he will, but that's the nice thing.
Yeah, drafted by the Celtics, if I remember right, with Jalen Brown, right before Jason Tatum.
He was before he was the first number one pick when Brad Stevens became the coach. He played the first year. Jalen Brown came the next year. I believe he was the sixth pick. I'm not positive on that one, but he was the first year, and that was when Boston began the rebuild by trading Garnett and Pierce. And then but he was always a hustler, played hard, and naturally, for fans, they would just love that style, like never give up and on the floor and doing all kinds of things. So that is stuff that you remember, and every fan likes it. We as fans get caught up on laundry, what team, what's on the uniform, and we don't understand for those people that it's their livelihood and they need to make money.
Well, this being an off year for the Celtics, for lack of a better way of putting it, why didn't they make the call? Why did they bring in Smart now?
They've got cap problems and they're not done dealing. They can't add, they've got to subtract. It's really this agreement, the players and the owners, the agreement they have, the bargain contract or whatever the hell it is. It's Boston now paying for it, but in a couple of years, it's going to be other teams, and Oklahoma City will go through it. And you know what? Maybe we'll never see what the Warriors did, unless maybe Oklahoma City has a shot. But you're hoping that there's no injuries and no problems for the next year or two, because in 2 or 3 years they got to make some major decisions because they're paying 3 guys almost the whole cap. So barring this agreement, and it's still got about 8 or 9 years left, or 7, 8 years, whatever left on the agreement. It's poor. And what to me it did was the owners that don't win are the ones who wanted this, because this evens it off in some ways. But you know what? They're getting money when teams go into the tax. So they were doing fine. But now they want a disagreement so no one team can win every year and so on. And it's just not right. You work hard, like Oklahoma City. They've worked hard to build a great team, and it's going to be slowly pulled apart unless the owner is willing to go for a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, the dreaded second apron in the collective bargaining agreement that's a whole nother conversation for another time.
Well, yeah, it's a hard.
It's doing what it was meant to do, but now we're sitting here thinking maybe it's not the right idea.
To me, you're catering to the teams that don't win. When, again, let's use the Celtics. They had to trade everybody, or 2 guys, 2 key players. But let's use that. They were paying a big tax, ridiculous amount of money, but they were trying to win. And not through their mistakes as an organization, they had to break it up. And that's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Yep. All right. We might have a little discussion around that. And I've been wanting to dive into the CBA and the second apron for some time, just for me personal. So we're going to table that for another time, because I think that's an interesting conversation. Now, I want to just gloss over this quickly because we're running out of time. It's a shot clock pod after all. The clock is winding down, but you've been hard on the Suns owner, Matt Ishbia, but you gave him some props today. Again, we can't talk about it too long, but what is he doing right now that he hadn't been doing right before?
I think the first thing, he traded Durant, and he got 2 pretty good players. Dylan Brooks is tough. He's a winner. He's a winner in the way that he'll do what he has to do to win, plays hard, good competitor, gets everybody else playing hard on his team. And then they got Jalen Green, who could score. So now you got Booker and Jalen Green. That's not a bad nucleus. And then he went out, and he still got a few other players, O'Neal, and a few other decent players on the roster that he can use, Grayson Allen, and so on. But then he went out, he traded for the pick, and I know the kid from Duke, Maluk, hasn't done well in the summer, and I watched, and he looked like he's going to need time. But they also got Mark Williams, the guy that the Lakers almost. So he picked up a few guys that might be able to play center. He's got Allen. He's got Booker, he's got Brooks. So they're going to be competitive. I think in the East, they'd be a playoff team. In the West, God only knows, because the West has got a lot of pretty good teams. They could be pretty good. I don't want to say pretty good, or they could flame out if it doesn't work, where they don't gel.
Yeah. Yeah. Outstanding. It's always good to see a team pivot. Rookies and managed to be a rookie owner, right? He's got to go through some learning curves. Maybe he's there.
Let me just add one thing. No. Owners do. They don't want to lose and start over. No, they don't, because crowds won't be there. They won't make money, and so on and so forth. So what they do is they get in that middle. Atlanta's been there forever. They get in that middle.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to go from there up, but at least Phoenix has made themselves somewhat respectable, considering it was a disaster area the year before.
Yeah, I used the term earlier when you and I were chatting. Building from the middle is not easy, and that's I never heard it put that way. Pretty interesting. So, hoping it works out for the Suns, but building a team is obviously one of the key jobs right now during this NBA offseason. You talked about listed 3 teams.
If you're building from the middle to win, you've got to hit on a draft pick. Meaning let's say you got the 12th pick. You've got to hit on it. And that's more difficult than having the first or second or third pick. So that's the crux of it.
Yeah, it does come down, as funny as it sounds, because so much of it is about planning and preparation. Sometimes you just get lucky. If the ping pong ball bounces your way, look up the Dallas Mavericks. But you finished with 3 franchises who are having some trouble building a plan right now from your perspective. Now, I want to call these 3 out, and I'm going to ask you, what is wrong with these franchises? What are they doing wrong in your perspective? And which of the 3 do you think is going to have the best chance of getting it right in this coming 25-26 season? You listed the Milwaukee Bucks, the Sacramento Kings, and the Toronto Raptors. Kings, I don't think anybody would argue. There might be some questions about the Bucks. I understand where you're coming from, but Milwaukee might be frustrated. And the Raptors just seem to be unlucky. But what do these 3 teams have in common, and which of them are going to get out of the mud first?
Each of them have talent, but how they go about amassing it. Let's start with the Bucks. You got Giannis. The big fear is Giannis is going to leave. And they're doing anything they can within their resources they got Miles Turner. Miles Turner's a nice player.
Yeah.
I consider him a star. And then they've got the rest of and then he picked up Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony can't defend. In the playoffs, Boston picked him. They wouldn't use him because Boston went right at him when he came in. He can score and he can play a little bit. But all you're doing is picking up these pieces that aren't bad, trying to keep Giannis happy. But meanwhile, I don't know. Now, Giannis is so good that you're going to probably be over 500 and be a competitive team. But you're still in the title talk in any way. But they're going to make every move they can to keep Giannis happy. Now, we go to Toronto. They just signed Brandon Ingram for $40 million a year for 3 years. I think Brandon Ingram is a real good player. The only problem is he doesn't like getting on the court. He's always hurt. I think he played, 54 games a year in his career. The season's 82 games. So he's not even playing 2/3 of the season. What can we say here? And then you've got a rest of the cast, and they've got some good players. And they could be good if everybody's healthy and they play. They could be good. But last year, I think they missed a ton of games, your starters. And they only averaged 55 games, I believe, each as a starting group. They played 55 games. So again, you're banking on health. And when the track record says it's not, of course it could happen, but that's not sensible. And then we take the Sacramento Kings. You just traded your point guard to San Antonio last year. You had to. He was wanted out and all that stuff that fans get angry about. But so they trade him. Okay, no problem. But what do? You go out and get Dennis Schroeder. Now, last I looked, you got Levine and DeRozan, who need the ball to score. Schroeder, if you're going to talk about a point guard, he's ball dominant. He likes the ball in his hands quite often. What are you going to do with that? And then let's think about it. DeRozan and Levine, didn't they try that before? Yeah, they did with the Bulls. It didn't work. So now that's where you want to go. And then you got the big guy. And they don't defend. They don't defend at all. So there's going to be problems there. It's just trouble. It's just the situation now. There's talent. That's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But who knows where it's going to go? Each of these teams have talent, but how they're building it, Sacramento, they've always been a mess. Toronto, I don't know. I don't know. And Milwaukee, I understand, but it's not helping the situation by signing Miles.
Yeah. No, I get it. At the end of the day, you need a plan, you need a fit, you need things to come together, and you need a little bit of luck. I'm certain it's proximity bias, but I feel so bad for the people of Sacramento. This is a city that absolutely loves their team. The energy in that arena is incredible. They support them no matter what, and they just pick yet a team to win there. And it's tough. I feel for the people of Sacramento.
2 years ago, their head coach, Mike Brown, was the coach of the year, I believe.
Yeah.
Monty McNair was the executive of the year. Monty McNair is now looking for a job. Mike Brown is with the Knicks.
Right.
Somewhere in ownership that rented the VVAC is a disaster. Somewhere you got to sit and study how teams that are successful, what they do. And what you're going to find most times is you find people, let them work and give them time.
Yeah.
You just can't, when one thing goes bad, throw in the towel. So now if you are the new GM, I think it's Scotty Perry, but if you're the new GM, you know that if Sacramento doesn't do well next year, I'm in trouble. So now you're doing things not for the long term, the build. You're doing things just to get through. So if we win 50 games, I'm in great shape. That's not you to do it. And then supposedly Vivek's coach, Doug Christie, that's who he wanted. One thing we learned when owners get involved, doesn't work real well. So those are the reasons why things don't do well.
Yeah. Certainly hoping for the best in Sacramento and Milwaukee and Toronto. What every team did. I would love a season where every team everything goes their way, health-wise. They get the team they want, and we get to actually find a champion. Because I guarantee you, I made this point earlier, I don't remember where, but if every season from the 50s onward, every team was healthy, I guarantee you the champion would be different. And every champion every year would be different because a lot of times it comes down to luck and it comes down to health. So I'm hoping for good luck and good health for all teams.
I agree, but you know that within, I don't know, by December, there's going to be a couple of guys that are going to want out. And they're going to want to be dealt. And then the whole game starts up again. And I'll just use two things. If Milwaukee starts off poorly, Giannis might start.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to see that because he's he's loyal, he's a good player, a great player, great, good person. And then out in LA, you got your friend LeBron there. I don't think he's dealing with not being the focus real well. And I think if things, and not necessarily the Lakers losing, as much as if he's more and more phased out, he might start out too.
Yeah. Which brings in another interesting wrinkle, right? We've got luck, we've got preparation, we've got drafts, and then you got to deal with the drama. And every team has got bits and pieces of that. But that's why we love the game. Plenty to talk about. You didn't hear it because it didn't go off, but the shot clock did go off. And again, we kept going. It's what we do. But that's it. Our time is up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure to read Steve's entire 13 Rules Random NBA Thoughts article. We'll link it wherever you're watching or listening to this today. We will be off for the next 3 weeks. It's the NBA offseason, so we all need a little bit of time to recharge. So please enjoy the balance of the NBA offseason. We'll see you back August 24th. Make sure to subscribe so that you'll know when we're back. As always, find us at thepeachbasket.net, thepeachbasket_ on X. The easiest thing, just mark it down. August 24th, we'll be back. Join us then on the Shot Clock Pod, the best 15 minutes of random NBA thoughts online anywhere. We'll talk to you then. Thanks, Steve.
Take care.